Good morning, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Coffee Break with Card, La Hora del Cafecito's new sister show. My name is Lourdes Quinones, and I would like to welcome you to the show. Coffee Break with Card is a program dedicated to all those in our community who are living with autism, to their family members, and to all those who support them. So come on in, join us at the table. Sign in on the comment section below and let us know if you're having your coffee with us. In today's program, we have the pleasure of interviewing Charly Nottke, the Assistant Director of Early Detection and Prevention Research for the FSU College of Medicine's Autism Institute, which created and oversees the Autism Navigator and Baby Navigator programs. Welcome, Charly.
Hi everyone.
So join us. We have a lot to talk about. But before we get started, let's start out by introducing to you our coffee break hostesses today. As I mentioned before, my name is Lourdes Quinones. I am a CARD consultant assigned to the primary age group. Professionally, I am also a pediatric physical therapist as well as a special education teacher. I am joined by my colleagues, Olivia McDonald. Buenos dias, Olivia.
Good morning, everyone.
And Maggie Aldana. Buenos dias, Maggie.
Good morning.
Olivia McDonald is an excellent professional in the field of public health. She is a CARD consultant assigned to the primary age group, just like me. And Olivia is the mother of an 8-month-old baby boy. And she is the sister of a younger brother diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Olivia.
Thank you, Lourdes.
Maggie Aldana is an excellent special education teacher. She's also the chair of CARD's constituency board and is the mother of 3, 2 of whom are diagnosed with autism. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you, Lourdes.
Jasmine Castellano could not be with us today. She is conducting a training, but she'll be back next week, okay? Hi, Jasmine. We'll see you next week. Anyway, before we get started, we want to review the rules by which we want to adhere during this programming to ensure a safe environment for all of us. Remember to keep an open mind, a positive attitude, and use respectful language. Let's see if we have, do we have any comments? Do we have anyone we need to say hello? Olivia, do you see anyone?
So hello to Filomena, my mom.
Our dear Filomena. I don't see anybody. I'm like trying to figure out. I'm managing so many things this morning. But anyway, if you're here, be sure to leave us a comment and we'll stop to say hello, okay? Anyway, we have a lot of content, so we are just going to get started right away, okay? So, as I mentioned before, in today's program, we have the pleasure of interviewing Charly Nottke. She is the Assistant Director of Early Detection. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your last name right. If not, you correct me in a bit.
Yep, Nottke, you got it.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. And she's the Assistant Director of Early Detection and Prevention and the research for FSU College of Medicine's Autism Institute, which is the program that created and oversees the Autism Navigator and Baby Navigator program. So again, welcome, Charly.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. So join us. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get started. Charly, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Yeah, sure. So like you said, my name's Charly Nottke, and you got that last name right. So that's good. Yes. And I do currently serve as the Assistant Director of Early Detection and Prevention Research here at the Autism Institute at Florida State's College of Medicine. Now, I know that's a huge title and a lot to say. So, but really my academic background is in psychology and special education. But I've been working with children with a variety of disabilities, children and young adults, for probably about 26 years now. And I really kind of hate saying that, but yeah, it's been about 26 years. And I started at the Institute really before it was even an institute, about 20 years ago now. And I first started as an FSU Center for Autism Related Disabilities, and I was a consultant for them. And about 14 years ago, I moved into research with the First Words Project. And the First Words Project is directed by Dr. Amy Weatherby, who directs our institute and everything that's under that. But the First Words Project is a longitudinal research investigation with its major goal of identifying early signs of developmental language disorder, autism spectrum disorder, and other communication delays in children 24 months and younger. But in my job, I really get a nice, unique opportunity to really connect with families and see how the clinical and research sides of the Institute really mesh with each other. And I really like being able to stay connected with families and do the research side. So I've enjoyed this time in my life.
I'm so excited that you get to join us, Charly. Can you tell us a little bit about what is Autism Navigator?
Yeah. So, sure. So what I'd like to do, and Olivia, I think you have the websites up. So, I'd really like to talk about the different
hold on a
websites.
second. I think Lourdes has to hit the other button for it to be shared.
Okay.
I don't have your screen share. I don't see it. Oh, there it is. I see it. Okay.
There we go. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, great. So here is our website, autismnavigator.com. And Autism Navigator is really a unique collection of web-based tools and courses using our extensive video footage, which has been really nice through the years, just the families and what they've offered to us. And we use that video footage to really bring early language communication science to the community. So Autism Navigator was developed because there's really a strong need to bridge that research to practice gap. And we started with our first course, Autism Navigator for Early Intervention Providers. And now we have a large collection of courses for professionals and families. All of our courses are free to anyone in the in Florida. And then any professionals that are outside of Florida, there is a cost depending on the course, but there are a few courses that are free to everyone. And you can find all of that information about what our courses are and how much they cost on our website under the courses tab that Olivia is showing you now. One of the courses that we have that's for families is called the Autism Navigator How-To Guide. And I'm going to talk more about the course in a minute, but here I really wanted to let you know that we want to give this out to free for all families, even families that are outside of Florida. So if families want to get into this course, you can get it for free by attending our How-To Guide webinar. And in the webinar, asking for the course. You can also get it from a professional that you might be working with that is enrolled in one of our other courses. Families can also get it for free by joining Baby Navigator, and I'm going to talk a bit more about Baby Navigator in just a few minutes. I did mention our How-To Guide webinar, and that's one of our newer webinars that we launched since the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we had a few webinars that some people kind of attended, but once the pandemic hit, we saw a huge increase in people wanting webinars and wanting to get in there. So we created a webinar that goes along with all of our courses and a few other webinars too. But you can find that list of all of our different webinars on our website also under courses. And if you see a webinar you're interested in, click on it. You'll see a description. You'll see when we do those webinars. And you can register for the webinar right there. The more people we get into these webinars, the more variety of times we will probably continue to offer. Right now, what's really, really cool is that we have people joining us from all over the world. And it's amazing. We'll be on a webinar at noon here, and there'll be people that are in Sri Lanka or India up in the middle of the night joining our webinars. So that's pretty cool to connect with the rest of the world. So, you know, I've covered a little bit about Autism Navigator and what we provide, but please visit autismnavigator.com and you'll find out so much more. What's really nice is that these websites and a lot of the information we have on the websites, it's in English, Spanish, and Creole right now, and we're creating more and more languages. Most of it, all of our documents and stuff are translated into all of those languages, and many of our courses have subtitles over the videos for definitely Spanish. So, but please, register for a webinar and sign up for a course. And for anybody that's out there that's interested, we do have a variety of CMEs and CEUs that we do also offer for courses. So for you guys in Florida, it's a nice way to get those for free.
And that is so important. And as a therapist myself, and even for educators, we're always looking for CEUs, right? And if it's free, it's even better. And and how important it is to get information that is evidence-based and that is accessible and in the comfort of your home. So thank you for providing those resources.
Yeah.
So much great information, Charly. In your you briefly mentioned the how-to guide, and I want to know what it is exactly, and can it be done at the same time as early intervention?
Yes. So the how-to guide course is really kind of near and dear to my heart because I love being able to get this out to everybody. And we are really excited because we are doing a collaboration with the Autism Science Foundation to really bring that how-to guide course and the webinars to a wider audience. So the course and the webinar, they're appropriate for families of children ages 1 to 8. So, I know we have at Baby Navigator, and some of our Autism Navigator is focused towards younger, and we're expanding older. But really the course goes for 1 to 8-year-olds. And it's for families who suspect that their child has autism, or even children with social communication delays, kids that haven't been diagnosed or don't have autism but have some delays there. So the how-to guide course is really an interactive web-based course where families can access like hundreds of video illustrations. I know that videos really help us learn, and so it's nice to see other families working with their kids. And they're using evidence-based intervention techniques that can be implemented in everyday activities that really help their children's learning there. So this interactive program will teach families how to really embed those strategies and supports into their everyday activities. Because the difference between our intervention techniques is that we're not trying to add more into a family's day because they're really already busy enough. We're really trying to teach them how to incorporate these techniques into what they're already doing with their kids.
Yes.
So we also don't, we're not saying that this is taking the place of early intervention. I think it's really a great supplement for families. So, and it's also really nice for families to have this while they're sitting there waiting for intervention, or they can't get intervention. And so, in our country, I think more kids get into it earlier, but in other countries, families don't get intervention young. And so this helps them. But it helps everyone get started right away. If you suspect something's going on, get started. And so, and even if you're in intervention, what we like to say, what matters most is the time between intervention sessions. Here in Florida, you might get an hour a week of intervention, and parents need more. And so this course will really help them, and the webinar will also help them embed those strategies into everyday activities they're already doing and help amplify that intervention. So also, if families have time, join our webinar. It's really a great place, I think, to connect with other families, get your questions answered about the course and any other questions you might have. And there's a lot of information in that course, and I think sometimes it's hard to absorb it all. And the webinar can really help families hone in on what will really help their little ones move forward.
Charly, you said a couple of things in there that I want to comment on. And the first thing is, like, as a pediatric physical therapist and an early interventionist, that for years I went into the home and I would always tell my parents, I'm in your home 1 hour out of 24 hours, 1 or 2 days out of 7 days a week. You're with a child the rest of the week. And so at that critical time when the brain is developing, with those neurological the connections are being done, and there's that brain plasticity where it's just being developed, you are key. And like you said, having that video where, yes, my interventionist showed me how to do it, but just being able to see another parent implementing another way of doing it, because maybe the way my interventionist explained it to me maybe wasn't in a way that I really connected with, that I really understood it. So perhaps seeing someone else and how they implemented the strategy, or maybe something that my interventionist hasn't yet talked about, because we haven't talked about that particular situation, because maybe it hasn't come up, or I have failed to share that. And I watch a video and it's like, oh, I had that same issue. And then all of a sudden it's like an aha moment. And how can I make that happen in my day? So like I said, it's complementary. It doesn't have to replace it. I have had, as a consultant at a card, I've had parents tell me, my child is in a waiting list to try to get an interventionist in my area. Because I'm in an area that it's out of reach, and there's no therapist going in that area, or there's a waiting list or whatever. So I love the fact that this is so accessible and it's online. I can do it at my convenience, and when my child is sleeping,
And there's a team of professionals too with the webinars.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and I think what we've found is that families are finding other families to talk to through the webinar and connect with, and get more strategies and new different ways of doing things. So
they're building their own tribe. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about the Baby Navigator.
Yeah. So Olivia, let's go to the babynavigator.com. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. So Baby Navigator is really a set of resources and tools for all families, regardless of if you have concerns or not. Yeah. And really what we want to do is to celebrate and help support families, babies' early learning, and nurture that development of language. Anybody can go to babynavigator.com and explore our free resources and see what's available. The website's really appropriate for professionals, soon-to-be parents, and parents of infants and toddlers. So on our website, we have a lot of different resources, and I'm going to touch upon a couple that are free out there from everybody, and then some if a parent registers. So you can go to our 16 by 16 lookbook series, and really here you'll learn those critical social communication skills that really help launch language learning, literacy, and more by 24 months. I don't think many families think about language or literacy under 24 months, but really it's all starts there. So our 16 by 16 will help. We've got our 16 gestures by 16 months that help launch language. And we have our 16 actions with objects that help really help kids, what they should help you learn what kids should be doing with objects. It really helps them learn. So you can also find our social communication growth charts. And here you can download the growth charts and you can print them out. I always suggest for anybody just to print it out, throw it on the refrigerator, and see what your little one should be doing. And even for professionals, if you have a certain age that you're working with, print out these milestones and have them there. So for families who are really expecting, if mom's pregnant or you have a child that's 24 months or under, you can register for an account with Baby Navigator. And so when families join, they really will have access to resources and tools that are customized to their baby's age and will really grow as their baby grows to help them monitor and support their child's development. So I talked a little bit about those social communication growth charts. Parents will have their own chart that they can chart their baby's progress, and they can watch videos more than just reading what the milestone is. They can watch other videos of kids and see what that milestone looks like. So, starting at 2 months will also help celebrate the baby's birth month. Every month we'll celebrate your baby with you, and you can sit there and tell us, things that your baby is doing, things that your baby's learning. You can also mention any concerns that you might have. And it's really, a good way to learn communication skills, or what your child should be doing. And, because you want to get ahead of those terrible twos, and you want to make it easier to handle those moments of frustration that all infants and toddlers go through. So this isn't just targeted to kids with concerns or kids that potentially might be delayed. It's for all kids. So also, when parents join Baby Navigator, they will be invited to fill out our social communication checkup. And we kind of call that the SOCO checkup for short. We'll ask them to fill it out every 3 months, starting at 9 months until 24 months. We'll also ask them to fill it out at 30 months and 36 months, just to keep a closer eye on them. And then during these SOCO checkups, parents are asked questions about gestures, about the sounds that the child's using, or how their child plays. And we're really screening for language delays, social communication delays, and autism. So the best part, I will say, for parents to, what they get from Baby Navigator is really access to our Baby Navigator team. So at any time they can schedule an appointment with one of our team members, and they can talk about any concerns they have. They can ask any questions that they might have about their little one, and just connect with somebody, to have someone to talk to. So also, by participating in our research, families are really joining a network of other families to help improve outcomes for children worldwide. The information that we're gathering, because this is a research project, so the information we're gathering on children who are developing typically, and children that show delays, it really helps us improve our screening tool and all of the online resources that we have. And through our research findings and resources, we really are aiming to improve early detection of social communication delays and help families learn how to support their child, and to get access to early intervention earlier or sooner if they need it. One nice thing about Baby Navigator, just like Autism Navigator, is that we also offer this in English, Spanish, and Creole. And those are the top languages in Florida, and that's why we're doing those languages. But we also are expanding to a lot more languages coming pretty soon. But also, when you want to schedule an appointment as a parent, if you want to talk with somebody, we have team members that speak English, Spanish, and Creole. So you can connect with a team member with those languages also.
And that is so needed. This is the reason why we have this show in Spanish. We started out in Spanish, actually. We just recently started the show
in English.
This show, La Hora del Cafecito, started out in Spanish, and this is our 92nd show, soon to celebrate our 100th show, and only our 17th show in English. So, and we did it because of the need of information in Spanish. So, but it was so popular. It was like, do it in English, do it in English. So anyway, so we're new to the English language. So thank you for providing the services. I know for speaking to about our population, Hispanics in the area. So thank you for providing this in the Spanish language.
Yeah, it is. It's much needed. I mean, and
any language for that matter, sure. But Creole, I'm sure, and any other language that you can provide it. This is so important work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do have a question for you, Charly, but I just wanted to share, I signed up for Baby Navigator when my son Gideon was born, and it's been really helpful as a first-time parent. Even like being in the field and used to work with you guys,
right?
Navigator. It's still like trying to remember, exactly what month is this supposed to happen, and it's also nice to know that there is that team, like you said, like if anything comes up as a concern. Not navigating this by yourself.
Yeah, and just having someone to talk to, because sometimes you can't get into the doctor, or the nurse might not have all the answers that you want, and you want another opinion.
Or they have
what does that milestone actually look like in practice? Because I think that's the other thing too, is like, okay, well, they're doing this. Does this count? Or are they not? Has it not mastered yet? Yeah.
And we were mentioning in the other show, is like a lot of times the doctors have that let's wait and see mentality. And and we know that, it's critical that we intervene the earliest time when, that critical period of brain development. And that's it's better to intervene and not be needed. We're never going to be doing damage by just, by stimulating the brain, just so, but whereas waiting and see it is it's wasted time. So
and that's why we created really Baby Navigator for any parent, because every parent needs to learn these milestones, and the more you know them, the quicker you can pick up on anything that might be going a little off track.
Yeah. And again, like just because something's maybe slightly off, don't automatically assume it's like autism. I know because of our, who we're talking to, but there's that too.
We have a lot to go through. So
So how is the social communication checkup different from other screeners out there, like the MCHAT or the Ages and Stages questionnaire?
Yeah. So, we get this question quite a bit, and there are a few differences. One thing with the SOCO checkup is we are going younger, and so we're really focused on looking at those really early milestones. So your baby's first smiles, their sounds, their movements, their gestures, and the words. And all of this is especially important for learning those social communication milestones. Those skills help babies connect with others around them in their world. And these milestones can predict the development of language, play, and success in school. So for many children, delays in these social communications are the first sign of language delay. So we're catching it as early as we can catch it before it might even present as autism. We're looking at those language delays. And some children with these social communication delays are at risk for other developmental delays, but also including autism. So it's really important to catch these delays early when the baby's brain is developing, and really and shaped by those experiences that the caregiver is providing around them. So our social communication checkup can help detect these delays even earlier, before your baby's starting to talk, where, MCHAT is targeted for kids a little bit older, and really targeted just for autism. The SOCO checkup is targeted for language delays and communication delays and autism. And the Ages and Stages is something that's, completely different, and it's looking at a kid's overall development. Another thing that really kind of sets us apart from these other screeners is the resources and the support that a family gets by joining Baby Navigator. So our screening tool is really just a part of that overall package. Other screening tools, you get a screen and it gives you some answers, but many times you have so many more questions, and you're not always sure where to turn. And the SoCo checkup, that's sort of built in. It gives you a lot more there. Of course, we encourage parents to do any screener that they want to do, get them all done. And of course, complete the screeners that your doctor is asking you to complete. Please do that. But this is just something else to add in on top of all of that. And parents need as much information as they can to keep a close eye on their child's development. But yeah, we are recruiting doctors to do this, and we've told doctors, keep doing all the screenings you're doing, do your ages and stages, do your MCHAT, add this in and see what you're seeing. And we did a nice study with a doctor's office in Orlando, a large practice in Orlando. And the study, what we found is that practice was doing the MCHAT on all of their children and referring kids on into early intervention. But their average age of referral was actually close to 3 years old. They implemented our SoCo checkup into the practice, and their average age of referral into early intervention actually dropped to 18 months. So it's catching those kids earlier and getting them in, because now those kids can benefit from that early intervention. So,
yep.
And that's wonderful, Charly. Thank you so much for sharing that too. Knowing that it's being implemented in doctors' offices already.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to families who are concerned that their child may have autism?
Yeah, I mean, I get this a lot because we have a lot of that wait and see. And I always say that if you're worried about your child and you're worried about anything going on, just keep talking to people. Keep talking to anybody you can that will listen until you really get the help you feel like you need. I know that, most people are really focused on that diagnosis. And a lot of kids need that diagnosis before they can move forward in intervention. And some families need that before they'll move forward in intervention. And, that all makes sense. But the problem is with autism and other developmental delays, it's hard to sometimes get that diagnosis. And you might be waiting a long time, and we don't want to wait to get started with early intervention. So what I say is really to focus on the areas of need in your child. What supports need to be put in place, and what is it that I need to work on? And really target it to your child. And regardless of what we call this, let's focus on the child instead of what the diagnosis is. And what we should really target are the struggles that the child's going through. And I really believe that at early intervention, we'll be able to get in there and make that difference and give the supports. I'm not saying to take away autism, because I actually I believe autism is a really good thing in people. But what can happen with autism is those developmental milestones in that paying attention to other people, and they lose that way of learning that we learn from other people. And that's what we want to support and we want to keep. We want them to learn how to learn. And what we're trying to prevent is some of those developmental delays that can come along with autism. So if a parent sees those early signs, keep reaching out, keep bringing it up until you get the support you need. If your child's under 24 months, of course, join Baby Navigator, and we can help you along this journey.
This is wonderful. Yes. And it's, like you said, it's free and it's available outside the United States. It's wonderful. It is so needed. And I just love it. So anything else you would like to share with our audience?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you guys for having me today. This has been great. And I'm glad to be able to, put the word out there.
Yeah.
I know I've covered a lot of information and it's a short amount of time and we have a lot of information. But please go visit both of our websites, autismnavigator.com and babynavigator.com, and spread the word. If your child's a little older than Baby Navigator, let your friends know, let everyone else know, and go visit Autism Navigator and see what we have there. If you're already have a diagnosis, or you're worried about your child having a diagnosis.
That is true. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure. And I just want whoever is watching, even if they're watching this later on today, because the CARD conference started today. It's actually going on right now, and today is Teacher Day. If you're watching this after we go off the air, just be sure to share this with other people that grandparents, even grandparents. We know nowadays there's so many young mothers that are getting that are becoming mother at an earlier age. And so we have a lot of parents and grandparents that are involved in their life that they need to know this information as well, so they can share it with their whether it's their daughters or granddaughters or whoever. And so share this information. Somebody that is planning of getting pregnant, is currently pregnant, be sure to share this information. This will remain on our YouTube page. So this is going to be available for future reference. It's going to be part of our library of videos. So be sure to share it. It's also in Spanish in our La Hora del Cafecito playlist of our YouTube channel, CARD USF channel, as well as under the Coffee Break with CARD playlist. So be sure to share this, okay? So thank you. At this time, if you're watching this after we go off the air and you have questions, you want to comment, be sure to leave them. We'll forward them to Charly, so she is able to answer your questions better than we can. And we monitor those all the time. But anyway, we're almost at the end of the show, but I do want to leave without, first of all, thanking Charly and Olivia for, making sure to bring us this information. Olivia for having this idea of bringing you on. So thank you, Charly. Thank you for the time that you put in for answering our questions and also for being here on the air with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate it. And I also wanted to let you know that next week we are going to be talking about the main agencies that you need to talk about, especially if you're new to this autism journey. So there's a lot of agencies that you need to be aware of that are available in our community that may be able to assist you and provide resources for you as a parent of a child with autism. So be sure to join us next week. You can't mix it. And as always, just before we go, I'd like to ask you a little favor. And as we're going to be providing you with a link to a survey, we'll ask you to please kindly take the time to give us a review how we're doing. If this type of information is important to you, this is the way that we can justify the time that it takes us to produce this type of episodes, and this is the way that we give back to the state, letting them know that our time is being well spent. Okay, so thank you. Even if you've done it before, we really appreciate it. So anyway, that brings us to the end. So didn't want to leave without asking you to please give us a like, share this video with those that can benefit with that about this in content. Be sure to save your Fridays to be here with us around 10:45-ish or so. We do come from another show, La Hora del Cafecito. So be sure to meet us here around 10:45 to hear us spill the beans on important topics about autism. All right. Until then, we want to wish you good vibes and hot coffee. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Are we still sharing? Can you stop sharing so I can find the button? I think I can find the button here somewhere. I read it. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. See ya.